Hello, Exiles. Finally back from the little mini break I was taking, and wanted to take a look at the Mageblood version of my Flamewood Totem Hierophant. Just a couple of changes, but they made some pretty big impacts on gameplay, so let's dive right in. First and foremost, the Ascendancy change. You'll remember previously we had the extra ring slot as we were not really using our utility flask since we couldn't achieve permanent uptime. Since we've switched to Mageblood, now we kind of like our utility flask, so I went with the Breach Lord just to take less fire and physical damage based on my graphs. In the gear slot, the ring we lost was largely a resist ring, so it goes without saying that our utility flask had to make up for those. We had to craft a little bit more fire resist on this ring just to push us over the edge. The Enmity's Embrace nerf is pretty hard. Mageblood itself helps us with our dex requirements and our strength requirement to keep our strength higher than our intelligence, and we'll come back to that later. On the boots, I added one maximum endurance charge. This cost 10 to 12 divine, but it was a 7% increase in EHP, and physical damage is really the thing that hurts us the most, so this helped out there. No change on the Black Zenith. Haven't had the opportunity to pick up a double corrupt yet. Since the Mageblood handles our dex, our shield, we crafted some extra resistances, but otherwise unchanged. The body is the same, the weapon is the same, the amulet is also the same. On the helmet, we lost the implicit mana reservation and just gained some extra max res. We're fine on mana just like this, so that wasn't really useful to us anyway. On the jewels, see, most of these stayed the same. We did drop the Bound by Fate, since we no longer have the three rings, and the third ring was the Crusader spot that I needed to make Bound by Fate work. We spent a little bit extra to get Rational Doctrine, which just does the same thing, giving us the permanent consecrated ground in conjunction with our forbidden jewels. That also applies to our energy shield, which allows us to use it as a mana source, a source of EHP through Mind Over Matter, and a second source of effective hit points through Frost Shield. Because of the insane regeneration, we regenerate this 5 times over per second. Just the small amount of energy shield we do have makes a huge difference for us. We added Balance of Terror. This was to give us crit immunity. I undervalued this stat for a long time, but I got to all the Crystal King, which had all hits are crits, and he one-shot me a couple of times. I slapped this on, cast it Enfeeble, and he went back to doing basically no damage. So this just became part of the build after that. I finally added Rain of Splinters. We didn't really need the damage, but I couldn't find an alternate use for this slot anyway. So, oh well, extra projectiles, and it's a considerable amount of damage. We're in the 500 million damage range for average hits now, so nice place to be. Foulborn, the Red Dream. This has got to be the most used unique, or Foulborn unique added, so I really don't think I need to go in depth here, but it adds a little bit more than 500 life to the build, so that just is what it is. Since I was able to get the fire res on the ring and a little bit more on the shield, I changed one of my graphs. This used to give fire resistance in the graph slot, but I wanted the ignite chance just to make sure that I was getting the fire mastery to trigger. Speaking of the tree, not a whole lot of changes here. I dropped a fire mastery will over here, and I was just taking this to get the regen based on uncapped fire resistance, but we've now got so much regeneration from other places. These 4 points were better used somewhere else. I added another small cluster just to help out with resistances, dex, and a little bit of energy shield. Gives some damage too, but it really gives us access to another jewel slot as well, which I really wanted. Changed the tattoos. We added fire res on these tattoos to maximize the Foulborn Red Dream, and then I remove the cursed effect tattoos over here as I pick that up on one of my flasks. There we go. On skill gems, not a lot of changes here. First, the cast when damage taken Stone Golem was really just POB bait. The Stone Golem was always dead, so I have 2 gem slots and I'm not really sure what to do with them. Removed Purity of Fire. We were able to get all of our fire resist elsewhere, and added Arctic Armor. Just based on the playstyle in Delve, on bosses, and on anything that could possibly damage you in a map, including T17s, you're probably going to be standing still anyway. So this physical damage reduction was huge for us. And then we are degenning ourselves with fire so much that the less fire damage taken was great also. Not that it helps with our degen, but it just makes sure that any extra fire damage we take is mitigated. We upgraded the enhanced gem. This increased the damage on our sniper's mark and put us up to 16 total totems, which through Woodstone and Spell and through our ascendancy give us more life, more life regeneration, more damage, so on and so forth. Last but not least, we added an enfeeble gem. Just so, why am I not leveling this? Definitely should be leveling that, sorry. Definitely want to level that up. But we added an enfeeble gem just to trigger our balance of terror. This is not accounted for in POB as we only have the 1 curse, so Sniper's Mark is what we use. But I will include the POB for the mirror tier budget. So it'll be on the drop downs in the POB. We'll go from base to mirror budget. Boop. Oh, wait, that definitely messed one of these up. Sorry about that. When we do this, we have the extra source of curse, so we can get both of those right away. So the way, or the only real thing that changes in this budget is we added double corrupt gloves, and you'll have to do these yourself because I have not been able to find a single pair on trade. Our Ashes of the Stars has an additional curse on it, which allows us to use both Enfeeble and Sniper's Mark, which is a huge amount of effective hit points. We add Progenesis. I don't think I have to explain this flask at all, but it's a huge amount of effective hit. And then we add Fallen to get our lucky block chances up higher. And I'll make sure to fix the passes for you before I add this in, but it does take care of the block chance as well. So altogether, it's like 180% more effective hit points and 24% more damage as well. In a league that was more hyped, I'd definitely grind this out. In the deep delve, we're making such a considerable amount of money, this wouldn't take too long. But it seems the community and grinding gears is really shifting towards PoE 2 for next week, so I'm going to shift my focus there as well. And I'll see you guys there. Please feel free to leave any questions, and if you've been following me on this journey, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next build.